Hello, and welcome to the Homeowner's Guide to Stormwater video series presented by the Westmoreland Conservation District. This is Part 8, You Can Capture Rainwater in a Garden. In this video, we will walk you through measuring the amount of stormwater that you can capture and how to construct a garden that will manage it for plants to use. A rain garden is a landscape bed that can capture stormwater runoff on the surface, gathering it temporarily in a shallow pond before the water eventually soaks into the underlying soil and gravel layers for the plants to use over time. By using a rain garden, you can capture stormwater on your property before it can run off and harm neighbors downhill. Worksheets in your local stormwater ordinance appendix may be able to help you figure out what size you need, how to build it, but we will walk you through it in this video. Step number 1 is all about measuring and calculating the amount of water that you can manage. Start by determining if you can capture roof water or runoff from paved areas on your property. You can place a rain garden below your gutters or along the low edge of a paved area to allow the water to run off into it. Measure the length and width of the roof or paved area, then multiply the length by the width to determine the square foot area. Using our example, a 40-foot by 15-foot roof equals about 600 square feet. To determine the amount of water that area creates, you need to multiply it by the rainstorm listed in your local ordinance, 1 or 2 inches. A 2-inch rain is 0.167 feet, so 600 square feet times 0.167 equals 100 cubic feet of water runoff in a 2-inch storm. Step 2 is to determine what size rain garden you will need to hold that amount of water. Rain gardens actually have 2 storage volumes, one on the surface for temporary ponding during the rainstorm, and then a second storage volume in the underlying soil and stone layers for when that same amount of water soaks in. To determine what size your garden should be, take the cubic feet of runoff from the area you are capturing to determine the best depth, length, and width for the ponding area of your rain garden. Generally, 6 inches is plenty deep for the surface of a residential rain garden. Using our example of a 100 cubic feet of runoff from a 600 square foot roof, divide the 100 cubic feet by 0.5, which is 6 inches in feet. This equals 200 square feet of ponding surface 6 inches deep. So, a 10-foot by 20-foot by 6-inch deep ponding area will hold 100 cubic feet of water. But then you need to add another 6 inches to the depth to establish a freeboard to make sure the rain garden doesn't accidentally spill over. Now the same volume has to be held in the soil and stone layers underneath the ponding area. Soil has 30% void space to hold water and stone has about 40%. So you need to make sure those layers will be able to hold the same amount of water or more when they are combined. The soil layer should be at least 1 foot to 1.5 foot thick to support plants. The stone layer should be about 1 foot thick so you can bury a perforated pipe in it for an overflow. A 10 by 20 foot by 1.5 foot thick soil layer times the 0.3 void space equals 90 cubic feet of water storage. A 10 by 20 foot by 1 foot thick layer of stone times 0.4 void space equals 80 cubic feet of water. Combined, 90 plus 80 cubic feet is more than enough volume to hold the 100 cubic feet of water for the plants to utilize. Step 3 is to find the best location for your rain garden. It should be on nearly level to gently sloping land and away from trees and any underground utilities, especially a septic tank or drainage field. You will need it to be below the downspout or paved area that you plan to capture, but also at least 10 feet away from a building foundation or underground basement to prevent water seepage into your home. Once you know the size and have picked out a location, step 4 is to actually construct the rain garden. The first thing you must do is to make sure there are no utilities crossing through the area where you need to dig. Call 811, the Pennsylvania one-call system, to determine if there are any public utilities in the way of your proposed excavation. The utility company should come out and mark them within 3 days. Then, Locate where your own underground connections are made to the house and follow them back to the public connection to find out where your private utilities are located to make sure you will not hit them while digging for your rain garden. Some small rain gardens can be dug by hand, but a small excavator will do it much more efficiently. Place a separation layer in the bottom of the excavation to prevent the surrounding soil from clogging the stone. You can use landscape fabric or a 4-inch thick layer of loose straw which will compress when you add the stone on top of it. Place a perforated pipe system in the bottom layer of stone to capture excess water in larger storms and to provide an overflow outlet when the rain garden is already full of water. The perforated underdrain should have a vertical pipe that extends to the top of your ponding surface to allow larger rainstorms to overflow your ponding volume safely and bypass the rain garden. Use clean stone for the bottom layer of your rain garden and around the perforated pipe system so the layer can store water. Cover the top of the stone with another layer of fabric or 4 more inches of straw and at least 18 inches of rich soil mix. We generally recommend a 50-30-20 topsoil to sand to compost mix that provides structure to the layer, allows it to soak up water and drain freely, and provides nutrients for your plants. Then, landscape it with plants that can handle drought and wet conditions. Using a layer of mulch will keep the weeds down. You should add fist-sized stone where the water enters the garden to prevent erosion and add a basket grate to the top of the overflow pipe to prevent debris from clogging it. Pennsylvania native plants that are drought tolerant and don't mind being around a lot of water can be found on the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources website, or you can talk to your local nursery for options that are available. Step 5 is to watch it grow and maintain it. Keep it clear of debris that may clog the overflow system. The overflow pipe should be inspected several times a year and even after very heavy rain events. Inspect the plants periodically too, and replace any that might be suffering. To learn more, you can continue to watch this video series, contact your municipality, or visit the westmorelandconservation.org website to review the Homeowner's Guide to Stormwater and the accompanying toolkit pages. Thank you for joining us for the Homeowner's Guide to Stormwater Management video series Part 8. Please join us next for Part 9, You Can Use Paving to Soak Up Rainwater, where we will discuss the variety of paving that captures rainwater and how it should be installed to manage it. This video series has been presented by the Westmoreland Conservation District.